Good morning to the West Coast, good afternoon to the East Coast and Canada, and a very good evening to our dear listeners in Beirut, Lebanon, and in Armenia and elsewhere in Europe. My name is Silva Kachikian, and I am a board member of the Armenian International Women's Association. And on their behalf, I'm going to welcome you to another of AWA's virtual events. This one is Candid Conversation. Before we proceed, and for the benefit of some of our guests, I just want to briefly tell you about AWA. We are a global community of Armenian women, strong and thriving, sharing collective wisdom to uplift one another. We are diverse, of course, but we are united. We're carrying that resilient spirit of our past to make a positive impact in today's world and to lead into the future. And we're continually adapting to the changing needs in the various communities of the diaspora and Armenia. And for that, we have affiliates and chapters in various cities, most active of which are in New England, New Jersey, Chicago on the East Coast, and we have Los Angeles and San Francisco on the West Coast. And then we have a branch in Yerevan, Armenia, and it stretches out to Gyumri. But today from Armenia, we have Hasmik Movsesian, and she is the AWA's digital co-host. And you will see her AWA symbol, that's her right now. And when I go offline, or not offline, but when I stop talking, there's Hasmik there. And when I stop talking, I too will have the AWA symbol. Now currently, AWA strategic focus is threefold. We have health and wellness, where we're supporting a woman's right and power to be aware and in control of her mental, physical, emotional, psychological well-being. And what better way to do that than through education, which is our second area of focus. We're ensuring through scholarship that women have the tools and skills necessary to increase their capacity and opportunity for advancement. And then the third area of focus is research and publication, ensuring women are accurately portrayed as well as recognized for their contributions in academia, sciences, the arts, and everywhere else where women lead. Which brings me to today's Candid Conversation with two powerful women from Lebanon, social activist, civic leader Carole Babikian, and entrepreneur restaurateur, especially of the well-known Mairik restaurant, Aline Kamakian. Today's Candid Conversation will be moderated by AWA's New England affiliate chair, Zella Astarjian, and vice chair, Tamar Shamasian. I welcome you all, and let's start.
Hi, everybody. This is Zella Astarjian from Boston. I hope you like the picture I have behind me. This is one of my favorite pictures of Boston. At AWA, our goal is to elevate others, empower and embolden Armenian women all over the world, enhance their well-being, as well as enable connections all over the world. And this is such a great example of that. Our two guests today exemplify the women of AWA. Aline, who founded the famous Mairik restaurant, and Carole, through all the nonprofits that she's involved in, like the Jabid Foundation and some of the others that she's going to talk about in a few minutes. Your desire to engage and help the community is commendable. So let me take a quick minute to talk about the format. So we're going to have a conversation with Aline and Carole for, I would say, 30-35 minutes, and then we're going to have enough time for Q&A. We're going to leave like 20-25 minutes, maybe more, for Q&A. So please type your questions in the Q&A feature. And I love all the comments that we're seeing. We have somebody, Aline, saying hello to you. I guess you were her brownie scout from AGBU Alex Manukyan Center in Beirut. So anyway, yeah. So let's start this session. First question is for Aline. As I understand it, your restaurant was completely destroyed by the blast, yet you immediately set to work and started preparing, distributing food to the needy. Can you tell us a little bit about this initiative, how it came about, who are you working with, and what other organizations you're working with to make this happen?
Thank you first. Thank you for inviting me. And AWA is a great association, and we women, Armenian women, are very proud of to be part of it. When the explosion happened, you know, you don't have a planning for the explosion, you don't have a strategy. The second day when we started to clean up the restaurant, and we were hungry around 4:30 afternoon, we were hungry. And this is the first time that I realized what happened. This is the first time that you realize that you are in your restaurant and you don't have any food or water. So there was a Caritas Lebanon who was distributing sandwiches, and my people took some sandwiches, and this kind of not hurt me, I felt wrong. And this is where I called my chef we have a small kitchen in Antilias that is far from the explosion. It wasn't a tent. So I called Eli and told him, please, tomorrow send me some sandwiches while we are cleaning, because water and sandwich. And the second day in the morning when I came in my rig and I saw there was, I don't know how many volunteers helping to clean up. And I called him, I said, you know, don't send that just for us, send 100 sandwiches, let's see, because there are a lot of people. Third day, 200. The fourth day, I told him, please send us hot meals. So a lot of people between volunteers and people in need were around us. And this is how we started to distribute. And this is where the World Central Kitchen found us. And he said, you're cooking, please, we need you to cook for us also to distribute more. And they came and they trained us how to do the strategic for the community kitchen, and how they want the meal to be balanced, protein, and everything. And the hot meal should be at what time, where, and everything. So this is where we started to cooperate with the World Central Kitchen, and we started to distribute, and we are distributing 2,500 meals per day.
Wow.
And it's really the greatest thing I've started, because it's, first of all, it's a healing process for my team. Because by putting yourself into work, by working, by distributing, by helping, you are, whether you want it or not, you are healing yourself, you are talking about it, you are sharing your experience, and by giving, you feel that you are part of the community, you are doing a part of it, you are doing a tiny thing, but yet you are doing something. So this is how we started, and this experience is one of the best things happened to me, honestly.
And what you're doing is commendable. Thank you. Next question is for Carole. Carole, you had run for parliament actually in 2018. And I think when we were prepping for this call, you said that you were glad you were not elected because you're doing more now than you would have been in government. And of course, that government eventually fell apart. Can you tell us about all the organizations that you are involved in, and especially since the blast, how your organizations are helping day-to-day, everyday people?
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry that I cannot, I can see you, but you can't see me. It's okay anyway. I want to thank you for inviting us to this panel. And to get into the subject, I will tell you that, like Aline said, the best therapy is action when you are facing such a dramatic situation. So we engaged ourselves, be it in Ashrafiyeh 2020, as I am an Ashrafiyeh resident, and I'm the president of this organization. It is an organization that has been meant to better the quality of life in Ashrafiyeh. That is a very nice city of Beirut. And we, instead of bettering the quality of life by doing like raising awareness about dog poops campaign for cleaner streets, about less air pollution, we found ourselves now with the economic situation, helping people with distributing food boxes, medication, and things that are lacking because of the bad economic situation we're facing. The same thing is also I'm participating in Jabid, and as we are all linked by our Armenian origins, I would like to stress on this point. Jabid is, like you know, it means smile in Armenian, And we are striving to bring a smile to every child as much as possible since 2008. In Jebid, we are doing great things. We help already with the school tuitions, but when we saw since 3-4 years ago, we saw that the child who is in need has no hope that he would go to university. So we started encouraging the kids by telling them, if you succeed at school, we can help you get to university. So this is what happened, and we opened a chapter of university tuition fees. Jebid has turned also, because of this big blast of August 4, into repairing the houses. Until today, we have been repairing 57 houses for Armenian people who are mainly in the Armenian areas, Berj Hamoud and Mar Mikhail. And for those of you who are not familiar with Lebanon, this coastal area where the blast happened is mainly inhabited by I would love to say Armenians and Christian Lebanese, because this is the reality, though we don't like to differentiate more between this and that, but this is the reality. I felt like I've talked too much. I'm also in a movement for women who was helping us to empower women into politics, into getting into active life. And this we will talk about maybe through the conversation. I leave the parole to you.
Thank you, Carole. That's wonderful. So what are the real day-to-day challenges, would you say, that the Armenian women are facing in Lebanon, a country that's been going from one crisis to another?
If I may.
Aline or Carole? Yeah, go ahead, Carole.
Okay. I don't want to talk because the challenges are many. Among them, some Armenian, between groups of Armenians, like, I'm going to repair, no, you're going to repair. So this, I hate to talk about it, but we have to point out that it exists. What is good, I like to see the good point and the positive side of it, is that we are all competing to help these people get back to their homes that have been shattered. And the job is being done by many NGOs, if I might say. The challenges are many, and the Armenians, to tell you the truth, are really desperate. The Armenians and the Lebanese are being desperate. So the more we can help, the more we can support each other. We give hope to each other, because don't forget that it's not only houses that has been shattered. Lives have been also, people are wounded, people are still carrying their scars, and this Aline can tell you more than I, although my husband has been also lost a lot of blood and got wounded, but this drama is not over, and our everyday effort is to get over as much as possible.
There are a lot of challenges, of course, and there are a lot of positive points. Unfortunately, we do have different-minded people. For example, while distributing food, I received phone calls from politicians or parties saying, please do not enter my territory. I said, no problem, go feed your people. Said, no, I just want to know what is your political intent. I said, I don't care about politics. I'm here to feed people. So if you don't want me to go in, you go in. You have challenges. As Carole said, there is good points, there is bad points. So one of the bad points is this one. And also during the blast and during the drama minutes, we had people that were here to steal. So there's always the good part and the bad part. From the other side, the whole, Lebanon unfortunately does not have a government, or does have a government that we don't accept, we don't exist, and anything. Everything is made through people. Everything made is through people like me, people like Carole, people like normal people. Everything is backed up by NGOs. There is no strategic thinking, there is no strategic help. So everybody wants to do something. And whatever we do, it's not enough. You have more than 300,000 people without houses. We have more than 160,000 people now adding after the revolution, adding after the economic situation, adding after COVID, without jobs. So there are different entities that are trying to help. The first thing was the food, medication, and they started to rebuild houses, apartments, small businesses. So we are building some glasses, some doors. There are some initiatives. We have very tight budgets because everything in Lebanon is important. So you don't have sources in Lebanon. So this is very bad in this. And problem is that in this, you have also that people need businesses. So there are small businesses, the SMEs are very much touched. We don't know how to pay our salaries. We don't know how to pay our employees. We're not working. And if we don't pay our employees, the employee is going to be without job. And we have a vicious circle that we're going on to. If we are able to pay our employees, this employee will go and buy from the supermarket, from the pharmacy, and. So we need to rebuild this ecosystem. So there is different parts to be for help to come. And the thing is very big. So if we're gonna go think for 5 years and what we need, we will give up. We need to stay day by day, small step by step, a window, a door, a small job, a food, and build the rest. This is how we're gonna do this.
There's so much work to be done, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Next question I have is what inspired you to do what you do? And part of that question too is what makes you keep going?
Aline?
I go, you go, okay. Look, I started, sorry, by the way, I'm at a friend's house, so the telephone is ringing and everything. So I'm staying tonight here because it's near to my work. I don't have a house now, so sorry for my mess here.
No, we're grateful, Aline, for your time. We appreciate, we know how busy you are. Thank you.
No, it's not that. I don't have a house, so I'm staying every week I'm staying to a friend's house. So what inspired me? I started Mayrik as it was my father's dream, and his dream was to spread, to introduce the Armenian culture to his friends through a small restaurant. And I lost my father, I was 17 years old, and I decided to realize his dream. So this is how I started. I'm so passionate about it that despite every challenge, when you're passionate, when you're in love with what you do, despite every challenge, you find ways to go out. So you find a way to go out. One second. It's here somewhere, the phone. Thank you. Sorry. So for me, the passion, the passion that I have to the Armenian food is different. I started as a dream of my father, but it turned to as a dream for me to spread it in the whole world. It's a culture that's spreading it through food. It's the nicest thing. For me, my dream is to have every single place in the world an Armenian kitchen. It's not about Mayrik only. It's any Armenian kitchen, but to spread it. So this is for me my passion. And through this, through giving food for people, you also, for me, food is love, food is belonging, food is passion. So I love food.
I can confirm that she does lovely, lovely dishes, Armenian ones. And funny enough, I can say that, sorry, am I interrupting or can I get into the conversation?
Go ahead, Carole.
Okay, I wanted to mention that like Aline, you know, she said she wants to keep up the Armenian identity through food, and she has been inspired by her dad. Well, I have to add that I have been very much inspired by my dad also, my late father, Babikian. Some of you might have heard about him because he has been in politics for more than 50 years in Lebanon. And his efforts to install the dignity of all the Armenian people who came from the diaspora to Lebanon were remarkable. He did habitation populaire, that we say, like a place for people to stay because they were staying in a very poor situation. So he managed to build buildings and give them this with no property title. I mean, they can keep on living in these places with paying a minimum. Bref, this was in the 60s. But what I want to say that he was trying his best to help the Armenians integrate the Lebanese society. By at the same time you keep your identity, at the same time you have to integrate the Lebanese society, you have to learn the language, to speak it well, so you can have power and a place and a decision making position in this society. And this is why he started a scholarship for the students of law in the Université Saint-Joseph, because this university teaches in Arab language, and he wanted to encourage the people, Lebanese from Armenian origin, to go study there so they would enter the political life and the Lebanese, community. And this is also very important to my eyes.
Right.
And I would like to add that when you said, Zella, that I was very fortunate not to succeed in the parliamentary elections, because I noticed how much freedom it leaves to me to act however I want with whoever I want to collaborate. Because as soon as you are in the parliament, you have, some engagements with this group or that group. And this is something that I'm happy I don't have to abide by.
Yeah, you are
only
doing
here,
so much more now.
Not in general.
Mm.
This is only here, Carole, not in general, in the parliament.
No, in Lebanon, I mean, we're here.
Okay, we have a bunch of questions that are coming in. Maybe I'll ask one more question, Tamar, right? We have some good questions that are coming in. One more question. What is being done for women to elevate them in the community and their businesses?
I am, sorry, Carole, I start, okay. I am part of Lebanese League of Women in Business, okay? We are a community for women, and what we do is to help women in business, not in politics, not in private sectors, not in home sectors or something, or religious. It's pure business. So this community, this NGO, our job is to bring women up front. And one of the major things that we're working on is to have women on boards, to have 25% of women on boards by 2025. Okay, this is what we're aiming for. Because unfortunately here 0.0001% of women are in boards, and if you dig, it's either the wife or the sister or the mother of the person. Just it's a picture. Nothing voted, nothing is it. This is one. The second that we do is also how to push young women, young ladies at 13, 14 years old to go into the IT, the STEM, and to engineering and stuff. In this field, what we're doing right now is that since I am an SME and since I'm working with, since I had this explosion and everything, we are working to bring funds for women-led SMEs to be able to continue, to be able to stay, to be able to pay their salaries, to be able to rebuild, to be able to rework. And we are trying to be as much as possible next to them. It is a little bit very difficult because the first thing you're asking someone, how are you? The answer is, I don't know. Or you ask someone, what do you need? The answer is, I don't know. Because the thing is so deep and so big that we don't know from where to start. Don't look at me. I always say that somehow, someplace, I don't know how I've done it. Okay. I'm too strong. I'm abnormal, whatever. But till now, I didn't have a second to try. Till now, I didn't have a second to think of what happened. What really happened, I don't know. But all I know is since the second of explosion, I didn't stop a second to rebuild, to see my employees, to rebuild their houses, to reopen my rig, to make food. So I'm not a normal case. But what I can do is to speak out for these SMEs, for these businesses. So this is what we're doing from our part? Carole.
Well, on my side, one more time, I see how much complementaire we are, you and me, Aline, because on my side, it's very much hearing the complaints of people and the demands. And sometimes it's so hard to listen to that all day long that I had to take one day off last week because it was really getting me down. We try to help everyone, and it hurts you when you have to say no to someone. So we try to say yes to every need. And if I tell you that there are needs like pillows and mattresses, and some people, they need a Maggi mix to mix the food because their jaw has been broken during the explosion. You hear things that are really, really unimaginable. The classical way we help is food boxes and medication. And then it's on a case-by-case situation. I don't know, I really don't know how people are not depressed more than this. I admire the strength and the courage of everyone because they have in every minute fight about everything, about food, about medication, about how to get a house, about how to get the house repaired. And we try to support them, always keeping in mind their dignity. Because, you know, it's so hard for people who are minding their own business and who were from the middle class and living very, very comfortably in their houses, and suddenly everything is shattered. And what we haven't mentioned yet is the economic collapse in Lebanon. So if you want to do the math, if you have a paper and a pen, you will see what you are going through, what you are facing. Like you go to the bank, $1 is worth by check. If you write a check of $10 to somebody, $1 is valued 1,500 Lebanese lira. If you want to withdraw $1 from the bank, they give it to you to 3,900 Lebanese lira. If you want to take your dollars out of the bank, they don't give you the green ticket, they give you Lebanese lira instead. So imagine with all this that we were facing the crisis, today people have to repair houses, and the guy who comes to give you the curtain glass or the window or the aluminum, he tells you, I need fresh money. Fresh money meaning he wants dollars or Lebanese at a high rate. So how do you want them to survive? So what we are doing in Jabid, and thanks to the donors who really believe in us and who trust us as well in Jabid, as well as Ashrafiyeh 2020, we have people from outside who are sending us money. And this is the only money that we can, if you send $10 from anywhere in the world, I have the right to take out the $10 from the bank. And this is how we are distributing for people some cash money, and it helps them repair, you see. This is unbelievable. I'm sure you haven't got the picture because it's so hard to believe. I'm sorry for the mess.
And Carole, a quick follow-up question too, and then we have a bunch of questions that are coming in, but what's being done right and what's being done wrong with all this money that's coming from overseas? I don't know if you can quickly address that question.
You know, everything that is trying to be done is help and positive. And the thing that is sometimes happening, like today, I just got a call from some people who sent from USAID some medication, and they arrived at the airport. The problem is they don't have the right to take them out. They need an NGO that could sign and say that, okay, I am receiving this. So these people, I know them, they called me, they said, please, if you can sign up the paper so that we can take this medication from the airport to distribute it. So everything, the good intention is there. Sometimes the organization is not very well, but we are really, really having a solidarity that is so beautiful to see. This is what gives us hope. When somebody cries to me, you know, saying, oh, what's happening to us? And I'm sorry to ask. I say, don't be sorry, please. This is not your fault. This is your right to ask now. The state should be doing something they are not. So we are here to help each other, and we don't want anyone to feel bad about it.
Thank you so much, Carole. Go ahead,
you
Ali.
were asking, every Monday I distribute food to houses, okay? Or I go to places where we're distributing food, and I be there because I want to hear and I want to see. It's completely different when you're there. And the first time when I went, they didn't know me, so I was waiting in the line with them to hear what's going on. And the most of the conversation was hospide hasne or baziknerus jashtam. You know, I wanted to be here so that I can feed my kids. So you see that those people are not beggars. Those people are not the one who doesn't want to work. Those people are decent people. They had homes, they had jobs, they had difficulties, but they had jobs. They were feeding their houses. They were middle class, upper class, lower class, but they were not beggars. And today we put them in a situation of literally they need to go and wait an hour so that they have a single hot meal. Yeah. What have we done? Really, and when I see this, or when I go to these older people that they worked all their life so that they can do a decent retirement. Everything they've built is gone. They cannot rebuild. Now we're just going to a house where, you know, some fell on. It's really heartbreaking. It's the minimum we'll do is depression. The minimum thing is hearing, like Carole said, she took a day off. I don't know how to day off. But the thing is, how much can we still handle? It's really down. I'm like, it's hard. It's everything is broken. It's not the window is broken. We have from casualties to permanent. I have 5 guys who's permanently disabled. A financial controller without eyes. What this 35 years old guy will do? Okay, how can I help him? What can I do? There is no government. There is no retirement plan. There is no 35 years old. What can you do? So we are facing problems that we're not supposed to face. I understand as a businesswoman, you will face a market, a downward, an upward, but I'm not trained to face this. I don't want to face this. I don't want to be called courageous and have this life. Just take this title and give me my life back. So really the thing is heavy.
Yeah.
No, this is Tamar. We have so many questions that are coming in. Why don't you take over?
Hi, Tamar here from Boston, and Aline and Carole, I'm touched, I'm inspired by all your work, and being a Lebanese is work. I heard that last month after the explosion. I think it was the French Lebanese or a Belgian Lebanese journalist say that. And you could just choose to survive, and it's perfectly fine to do nothing but just hang in there and survive. But both of you have gone above and beyond, you know, even if it's draining you, you still want to be out there and help out. So thank you from all of us. And I wish we were there and we were on the ground and helping you. But some of the questions that I got obviously revolve around how can we help? How do women in the diaspora or the AWA members can help? Carole mentioned that they are accepting cash, but what other ways can we help out? If you can be just specific.
If there is definitely the cash helps a lot because everything is related to cash. I have on my Instagram crowdfunding for my RIC. You can have the link on Facebook or but the most important is your words, your thoughts. I mean, like small words from you makes our day different. You know, it gives us hope. You sharing our stories, keep on talking about our stories, sharing our GoFundMe, our crowdfunding. is really important, because what you're doing today, you're putting light on us, okay? You're letting us speak in the name of all the rest that they don't have voices. Our job is to spread this story, spread this info. First, to be able to stand up. Second, I hope and I wish for the whole world not to repeat this corrupted, stupid mistake. I don't know. I mean, like, the more we can talk about it, the more we can put awareness about it, the more you can give us hope for us to continue. Because honestly, as I said and Carole said, all we're hearing is depressive. Nothing joyful. You know, I opened
If
the
you
terrace
allow
of my
me,
yeah.
sorry, if you allow me one thing, to think positive and in a way how we could help. I would say that, you know, education, as much as for AWA, as much as for all the Armenians all over the world, and you all know that when the Armenians came to Lebanon, the first thing they did was building a church and then close to it a school. And we want these people to stay educated and to learn. And many of them are really in difficult times to go to school. So if you want to make transfers sometimes to Haigazian University straight or to some schools, saying we want to make sure that like 5 students are going to benefit, or 10, or I don't know what, we can also stay in touch later after this panel and discuss ways of helping in education, because I think this is really, really the thing that kept the Lebanese people in Lebanon, and that makes what is a Lebanese person that has a plus all over the world is because they speak Arabic, French, English, Armenian in our case. And to continue with this, we need to support schools. All the rest, you know, food is being distributed, thank God, thank to Aline, thank to food boxes distributed. Medication, we're managing, but education is something so important to my eyes.
Right.
Education is extremely important, and also there is also the Jabid are doing for the education. Also there is the other way, also for the fund that I was telling is for the food, for the food boxes, for the food things. But again, beside the cash and beside the help, spread the news, spread the story, spread people as much as you can.
I agree. So we did have a question about education and the effect this whole year has had on education, whether universities are in session. I know things are up in the air, especially with the, you know, internet in Lebanon. It's not optimal. So they're probably going to do some hybrid or some in person. But thank you, Carole, for sharing the note about helping out colleges. I know, you know, as an Ayubite, we try to support, you mentioned Haigazian as well. So anytime you have a chance to support educational institutions, it's going to the right place. Speaking of going to the right place, we have a question here, just a general question that some funds were, so the Central ARS started a fundraising effort from communities throughout the USA. Did any of the assistance reach the Armenian people affected by the blast in Beirut? What can you tell us about the results about that effort from your end? So you might not know about the ARS fundraising, but just in general, I think one of the concerns is, are the funds going to the right places? That's always a concern when we're, you know.
That's very important. I will tell you one thing, like we have the Lebanese community in Chile. They collected money and they sent it through the embassy. The ambassador, the Lebanese ambassador in Chile is a woman. She's a very tough woman, a very nice one. She's not Armenian, but still she has been working to gather money and send it to Lebanon. But what I wanted to say concerning the question is, when you send money, you have to send it to specific persons' accounts, or like Myrik has an account, Ashrafia 2020 has an account, Jabid has an account. We have also Ariba now, where you, by the Visa card, you can even send like $5 or $10 We have this on the website of Jabid. But you cannot say we had collected money and sent it to Lebanon. Where to Lebanon? This is the question. And I would advise you to send it anywhere you want, but not to the government, because there you'll never find it back.
We
I think
will
we all agree
try
on
to
that.
share those. Aline, maybe you can send us your mighty crowdfunding and Jabid, and maybe we'll try to share it on the chat
Right.
here in a minute. But
So on another note, Aline, we have a participant who is concerned about your physical injury and how you're doing from the blast.
I cannot hear anymore from my right ear. I had 2 coats broken. Now I'm feeling better. But I was, from my team, I was the least affected, thank God. So I'm okay. I'm just running after my team. Thank you for asking. But I can't hear from the right. So hopefully it will be better. Let's see.
Hopefully
We
it's not
still don't
permanent.
have. Let's see.
Another question, Aline, to you is, are there any organizations that are helping you with the cost of what you're doing in terms of distributing food?
As I said, there is the central World Central Kitchen that started to help. Then we are working through different NGOs. Now the NGOs are saying that we need to distribute to this. When I cannot do more than 2,500 as personal input, what they're doing, they're bringing the in-kind. They're bringing
Even
the products.
Jabid also. Aline.
Exactly, that is what's coming to. They're bringing in-kind and we're doing. And now there is Jabid and AGBU that started also to distribute through us. So they're paying us a certain fee to be able for us to cook and to distribute to the Armenian communities, to the schools, to the elderly people, and to the Jbel, what's the name?
Bird's nest. Bird's nest, yeah.
Bird's nest, yes.
So another question, and this is an interesting one, as a Lebanese Armenian myself, this is something that I would like to share specifically because we're having a candid conversation today without digressing too much from the topic of, you know, what's happening in Lebanon, how can we help, and how the two of you are inspiring and leading these efforts. A participant wanted to make a point that please identify the Armenian Lebanese as they are Lebanese. The Armenian community in Lebanon has contributed much just to identify them as Armenian only. I'm a Lebanese American and proud of both. I would say as Lebanese Armenians, we are proud of both. Lebanon is part of us. We cannot identify with one group or the other. And I'd let the panelists pitch in on this.
For me, when we talk like this, is just to I always present myself, and Carole also, is we are Lebanese from Armenian origin. We don't forget our origin, and we are so proud to be Lebanese. But when we talk here, Armenian Lebanese, we cannot say the Armenian are not Lebanese. So just to be able to say he is Armenian, he is Lebanese from Armenian origin. Instead of saying Lebanese from Armenian origin, we say Lebanese Armenian. But the Armenian are as much as everyone else Lebanese for me. So I don't know if Carole has anything to say on it. I think Carole having a trouble in internet.
Oh, she's muted.
I agree with Aline. We are definitely both Lebanese and Armenian, and we cannot deny this. But the strong feeling is whenever you meet somebody who is Armenian, you have a difficulty not to talk Armenian with them. And this is very only fair, I guess. And this is the only way we can keep the language going on between us. But you know, en plus in Lebanon, communities are very supportive of their people. So like you have the Druze, they help the Jews together. Like you have the Orthodox, they do things for the Orthodox. So this reinforces a little bit the feeling of Armenian being Armenian. But lately, because we want a new Lebanon, people are trying to get rid of this way of thinking, and we're trying really to say we are all Lebanese and to try to help each other, whatever the community, whatever the confession. It is going to take a while, but it is a start, and it's very important to build a nation, I believe.
Absolutely. Siva, just a confirmation with you. We are going to share the link to this recorded session, correct?
Yes, everyone who has registered will be getting an email with the link attached to it that will, it'll be a YouTube, it's the AWA YouTube. So you will all be receiving it. So at least you can go through some of the information that was passed on, and you can hear it again and see it again.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I also shared the, I got a few questions about joining AWA. I shared the link, I'll reshare it again. And we will also send links to Aline's crowdfunding page as well as Jabid.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can we also talk about mental health? That's something that was on my mind. Carole, I remember when we were prepping for this, you mentioned those special booths in Jamaica.
Yes.
I thought it was very creative.
Absolutely. In fact, thank you for reminding me. First, it's maybe a joke, but I think we are all not mentally healthy anymore. So we don't notice this because we are all in the same situation. But this is, I mean, for just joking, unfortunately, it's sad, but it might be true. But still, what happened is that people needed to talk. And as you know, this is the therapy, why people go to analysts and psychotherapists is to talk. And here, after this blast, we were in need to talk. And there was this initiative who did listening booths. So you can go to the street and walk around, and you see this tent where there is a guy sitting, and it's written listening booth. You can sit and talk to this guy, just tell him what you feel, what happened, whatever you want to talk to about. And I thought it was a very nice initiative because people really, we are mind and body, and if you survived with the body, it doesn't mean that our mind is healthy and didn't get shocked. So it was a very nice initiative. And I can tell you a small story also that happened because my children were at home and my husband got wounded, and they wanted to take him to the hospital, but the door of the house wouldn't open. So they felt trapped. And my daughter and my son, they were seeing their father, you know, losing his blood and dying between their hands. And it was a shock for them. So much so that they cannot, when they hear, you know, a big sound, they're shocked. And lately there was another fire. On September 14, people have for, you know, Chach Panaga. On September 14, it's the Feast of the Cross. So we are used to light up little fires in the mountains. And my daughter was in the mountain and she called me afraid and she said, what is happening? People are still lighting fires. I said, this is a Christian fire that we do for this feast. It's nothing. But to tell you how the mind is shocked and everything gets related to this explosion so sadly.
What we've done for the mental health with the group is we brought in help group therapy for Mayrik, for the team of Mayrik. But again, we have different people, we have old ladies, we have young guys, we have different people. You cannot put them all together. But again, the best therapy or the best thing is to cook, to give, to talk. So we are working on the main wounded people, personalized therapies. But we need, as Carole said, we are all we are all needing of everything, and like we are so much, everyone is crazy, or everyone is shocked, or everyone is under pressure or anything, that when we talk together, it's okay. When someone else comes to talk, they're not imagining, you cannot imagine the big thing. So you automatically, you're out of this conversation. So I don't know if I'm able to explain, but the guys who had injured the explosion, let's put it this way, are talking different languages right now.
Yeah, I was comparing this a little bit, you know, with all due respect to all people who suffered, but the veteran in Vietnam, I guess these people, when they came back to the States, they were disconnected with the normal life because they had seen so much. And I think this is what happened to us. We had gone through such a dramatic thing that when people talk to us about normal things, we try to understand, what are you saying? What are you talking about, you know? And then you realize that playing victim is not going to be the solution. So you have to take a grip on yourself, act, and get over it. And this is what we try to do every day, every hour.
Aline, one more question before I forget. When we were prepping, you talked about setting Mairig restaurants to be open again, and I think people were donating a fridge and an oven. And how is that effort going? Can you update us on where you are and what you still need?
Honestly, without the donation of the people, I wouldn't be able to do anything. The crowdfunding of Mairig did tremendous work, and I cannot thank enough for every single person who helped us with cash or with words or with telling our story. So this is a very important part, and this is the cash part. And from the people who were not able to, in Lebanon, you cannot pay for the crowdfunding, okay? Because unfortunately, you cannot dollars outside Lebanon. So people in Lebanon, the one who, especially for the food, every morning when we open Bachik, the other restaurant where we're cooking, we find people from the supermarket bringing whatever they can, food, oven, anything, they put there without name, without anything, and they go. So this is how we started to cook at the beginning, more and more. Everybody was bringing us food so that we cook for the people of need. And this is what gives you a kind of hope, a kind of saying that people of Lebanon are still good people. You know, like, you know, everything they've passed through and they are here. Even if they can't allow 1 kilogram of rice, they bring you, you know, like, this is very important. And this is the solidarity and things. I cannot thank people enough. I mean, like, whatever happened to Mairig, people were really, from Jibid, who also helped us, to every single person who tried to donate to Mairig. We managed to rebuild the houses of the employees. We managed to rebuild the terrace, and we're building inside. We will not be able to do as before, but step by step. And without this help, we couldn't be here.
Yes. For the benefit of time, I mean, right now I'm quite speechless, and it's very rare for me to be speechless when I hear, but hearing the passion and the selflessness, I cannot thank you enough to Aline and Carole, who took their precious time to show us the meaning of resilience, courage, as they balance between the horror and ordinary life, if there is ordinary life there in Lebanon. They've shown us who the real heroes are in life. The heroes are the Lebanese. And I know many in our audience have a big piece of Lebanon in their heart and soul. And they will make every effort to support the needs of our Armenian families there, as well as all the Lebanese.
So
that was touching. So now let me get back to my normal. Here we go. Thank you all again for that raw and candid participation. We really do hope to speak to you again. And why not? Under improved circumstances, as they say, inshallah, as they say, God willing, hasta zuzeh. Thank you to our moderators, Zella and Tamar, who helped bring this program together. Thank you to all the attendees across the globe. Now, if you are not yet a member of AWA, we encourage you to go to our website, www.ayinternational.org, which is also listed, I believe, in the questions and in the chat. And join the global network of Armenian women who share these values. The values are integrity, respect, inclusivity, service, and relevance. Thanks again. Stay
Thank
well.
you. Thank you.
Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Thank you.
Thank you again. I cannot thank you enough, so I'm going to just say it. Stay well, stay safe, stay informed, stay relevant.